On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. We definitely got a lot going on right now. Trump helped release a whole bunch of children. Plus, we've got interesting activities going on with China and Russia right now. We've got a major attack that happened against Venezuela, or at least one of their targets. It's actually a pretty cool video. I've got some video of Trump talking about it, too. Got a lot going on. Let's get to the big part of this, I guess, right? German elections, they have been thrown into immense chaos. They've had a wave of AfD deaths, people on the Conservative Party side. They've now had 7 different politicians that are running. This is apparently up in the western state of North Rhine-Westphalia. 7 German right-wing AfD party members have died in recent weeks. The total number now at 7, like I said. Officials are scrambling because they have to reprint ballots. They got an election coming up, and literally all the people are getting killed off. That doesn't seem suspicious at all, does it? Also, Michael Schellenberger put this out, and this sounds a little strange as well. I'm not surprised, but at least we've got some information coming out. Twitter files France version. At this moment, the Trump administration is negotiating with the EU over final obstacles to a trade deal, one of which is European censorship of U.S. social media platforms. Many analysts believe the massive size of the EU will lead U.S. social media firms to impose European censorship, including on Americans. Last year, the EU then top digital censor, Thierry Breton, threatened action against Elon Musk after he announced a conversation on X with Donald Trump. Now, new Twitter files show a coordinated effort by France's President Emmanuel Macron, legislators, and state-affiliated NGOs working together to force the world's most influential social media platform to censor users for legal speech and influence Twitter's worldwide content moderation for narrative control. What's more, Twitter Files France reveals the birth of the censorship by NGO proxy strategy at the heart of the censorship industrial complex. President Macron personally reached out to then CEO of Twitter, Jack Dorsey. The timing of Macron's actions strongly suggests coordination with NGOs on a pressure campaign to win more censorship and demand sensitive user data from Twitter. The pattern of events indicates potentially illegal activity by various actors. The Twitter Files France investigation was led by McMahon Pascal, Battle for Europe, and edited by Galaxy Brain and Schellenberger. They are going to be releasing these files here on X, simultaneously publishing a comprehensive report by an individual I can't pronounce. So a lot of stuff's going to be coming out, and these files they're already out on Schellenberger's file or Twitter file, so you can definitely check that out if you are so inclined. She proposes global governance initiative at the largest ever SCO summit. They just had this big giant summit. I think Putin was out there as well. But President Xi Jinping has said that he proposes global governance initiative, the GGI. Obviously, yeah, we ain't going to be a part of that, but it is going to be curious to see who all's in there. Is this like the new UN, right? Like, what is this going to be? But obviously, China is going to be directly behind it. It'll be curious to see which companies do come on board. China unveils full land, sea, and air nuclear triad for the first time. Weaponized robot wolves and all this different crazy shit. They got these big, long super torpedoes they were showing off. So a lot of crazy stuff. We don't need to get into all the different images of it. Obviously, it was a show of force. They want to show that they're tough and mean and bad and yada, yada, yada. Even put their boats on trucks. That's interesting. Boats on trucks. It's kind of a cool thing. Laser technology. That's pretty cool. So yeah, good stuff. They're little robot dogs, planes. These are their different drones they've got. Again, some of these things are prototypes, mocked up. Again, this is one thing Russia was guilty of doing. They did this with the flyover thing. I don't remember what the year was, but they took the same planes and they flew them around like 7 times. But everyone thought it was like 7 times the number of planes, right? Like they just flew by once. And they had all these planes, but the reality of it was they didn't have that many planes, and they were flying them by multiple times. And so it made it look like they were significantly tougher. Donald Trump truthed in regard to this little festivity they're having. The big question, and what they're doing is they're celebrating the end of World War II, by the way. So Trump had some thoughts because we weren't invited. He said the big question to be answered is whether or not President Xi of China will mention the massive amount of support and blood that the United States of America gave to China in order to help it to secure its freedom from the very unfriendly foreign invaders. Many Americans died in China's quest for victory and glory. I hope that they are rightfully honored and remembered for their bravery and sacrifice. May President Xi and the wonderful people of China have a great and lasting day of celebration. Please give my warmest regards to Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un as you conspire against the United States of America. President Donald J. Trump. And of course, Xi and Putin, they were caught on a hot mic talking about how they could try to live forever. Actually, Kim Jong-un was part of this conversation. How they could live forever, or at least to 150, using the organs of other humans that obviously aren't using them anymore. Not by their choosing, usually. And this is one of the big things that's happening with the Chinese Party, Communist Party. They've got the Uyghurs and they've got some other slaves, Falun Gong, and they literally will take these people and remove their organs and, kill them or, make them one less kidney, and it's their problem they got to deal with. So a lot of bad things are coming. So they got caught on a hot mic talking about some pretty crazy stuff. Putin supposedly got cancer. Xi is old. He's in his, 82, I think they both are or something. They're pretty old. 72? 72 or 82. Where are they? They said it in here somewhere, I think. 80th anniversary of the war. But yeah, these dudes are definitely, 70 years old. Yeah, 72 is Xi. There you go. And 72 for Putin. Kim Jong-un, who knows. But yeah, they were talking about trying to live forever. Funny thing. Chinese copper mining company accused of cover-up in a massive Zambia toxic spill down in Africa. This is, again, one of the wonderful things about China is they don't really care about the environment, about the world, about other people. Just don't care. You're worthless to them if you're not Chinese. That's for sure. So the South African environmental services company called Drizzt hired to help clean up the spill of toxic waste from a Chinese copper mine in Zambia. They've issued a statement and claimed the mine owners are concealing the full extent of the massive ecological damage from this incident. This copper mine has just destroyed the ecology around, which is kind of sad. Donald Trump truthed this out, and we'll play the video here in a sec. Earlier this morning, on my orders, U.S. military forces conducted a kinetic strike against positively identified Tren de Aragua narco-terrorists in the Southcom area of responsibility. TDA is a designated foreign terrorist organization operating under the control of Nicolas Maduro, responsible for mass murder, drug trafficking, sex trafficking, and acts of violence and terror across the United States and Western Hemisphere. The strikes occurred while the terrorists were at sea in international waters transporting illegal narcotics heading to the United States. The strikes resulted in 11 terrorists killed in action. No U.S. forces were harmed in this strike. Please let this serve as a notice to anybody even thinking about bringing drugs into the United States of America. Beware. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And again, here's the video of it. I guess there's no audio, but yeah, they're going to zoom away here in a sec. And Trump talks about this in a moment. We'll play that next, but give him a sec here and it'll kind of zoom out, and that's when it gets hit. Supposedly by a missile. I'm not sure if it was a Hellfire or what got shot at it, but something hit this thing here. It's going to blow up. It's going to go ba-boom. Yeah, there you go. No more. No mas. Sayonara. Hasta la vici, or hasta la whatever, right? So there you go. There you go. No bueno. Hegseth to narco-terrorists. Says assets gathered in the region after drug boat blown apart in a missile strike. He's definitely saying more stuff is coming.
I watched it live. We knew exactly who was in that boat. We knew exactly what they were doing, and we knew exactly who they represented. And that was Tren de Aragua, a narco-terrorist organization designated by the United States, trying to poison our country with illicit drugs. Last year, under the Biden administration, all 4 years, 100,000 Americans died from drug-related from drugs, from the use of drugs, many of which poured in from Central and South America through our southwest border. Now, we're sealing the border. But President Trump is willing to go on offense in ways that others have not been. And to send that clear signal to Tren de Aragua, Cartel del Sols, and others emanating from Venezuela, we're not going to allow this kind of activity. You're poisoning our people. We've got incredible assets, and they are gathering in the region. And so you want to try to traffic drugs? It's a new day. It's a different day. And so those 11 drug traffickers are no longer with us, sending a very clear signal that this is an activity the United States is not going to tolerate in our hemisphere.
Well,
drugs are bad, okay? They certainly are. Drugs are horrible. Yes. So again, they got a lot going on down here. Now, this was one graphic I thought that was kind of interesting. We've got a number of ships that are currently in the area. The USS Iwo Jima, the USS San Antonio, the USS Fort Lauderdale, the USS Gravely, USS Jason Dunham, the unknown submarine. We have the USS Minneapolis and the USS Sampson. All of these ships are in this area. They are doing some serious stuff. We've obviously got airborne surveillance as well. And again, the submarine is probably very capable of finding most of these craft just from acoustics and everything else. So, because they're very unique sound. And that's what a lot of it's about. Anyways, pretty crazy stuff. I thought I had Trump. I might still. I thought I had something from him. Yeah, maybe not. Whatever the case is. Yeah, Trump was talking about it. Oh, here it is. Cool. Check this out.
You'll see that we just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat, a drug-carrying boat, a lot of drugs in that boat. And you'll be seeing that, and you'll be reading about that. It just happened moments ago, and our great general, head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who's been so incredible, including what took place in Iran, knocking out potential nuclear power for a long time to come. I think within a month they would have had it. We didn't do what we did. But he gave us a little bit of a briefing, and you'll see. And there's more where that came from. We have a lot of drugs pouring into our country, coming in for a long time. And we just, these came out of Venezuela, and coming out very heavily from Venezuela. A lot of things are coming out of Venezuela. So we took it out, and you'll get to see that after this meeting is over.
Yeah. So, we got, I think, the gist of the matter, if you will. Got some more wildfires going on. It burnt a historic California gold mining town. Oddly, a town that was Chinese gold mining area, but that has been burnt down. A lot of historic buildings, a number of historic buildings. 100 residents got moved out. So that's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, but again, us and fires, you gotta love it. Unqualified Secret Service snipers were protecting President Trump on a couple occasions, certainly President Biden on many occasions. These individual snipers, or counter snipers essentially, there's two trainings they were supposed to take. There was daytime shooting and nighttime shooting. All of them had passed their nighttime shooting, 100% of them, but the daytime shooting, something like 17%, once again, there's the number, 17% completed that mandated daytime shooting in the first quarter, and none did it in the second quarter. So whatever case, they were not up on their counter sniping as they should be, and so that's being qualified or fixed or whatever. Donald Trump put this out, or this was put out in regards to him. President Donald Trump is planning to attend a Yankees game in New York City on the anniversary of the September 11th terror attack, sources tell Fox News. Something that dawned on me about this, you guys can say I'm crazy, and that's fine, but it hit me, and I'm like, there's probably something to this. How else could you sniff and search for nuclear weapons and certain other things and not draw attention to people, right? Because 9/11's coming up, and you start flying that doomsday or sniffer plane all over the place, then you can run into some problems. But if the president's going to actually be at the game, well, then it justifies a lot of different activities, doesn't it? Like it would be expected. It's like, well, Trump's going to be there, so they're just making sure there's no crazy stuff. So I kind of wonder if there was some sort of weird 9/11 plan. We do know this is a very significant day on many, many levels. New York, obviously significant. Stadium would have huge numbers of people. So I'm curious what if this is just Trump going and celebrating 9/11 in New York, which totally could be. Don't have to necessarily read more into it, right? Going to a Yankees game of all things, too, which would be fantastic for a New Yorker, right? So I don't know. Something to think about, because sometimes you got to wonder how they sneak some of this crap out. National Guard is staying in Los Angeles, even as this judge claims it's not legal, that they're breaking the law with the Posse Comitatus Act and yada yada. But the guards are still there. I was kind of wondering if they were hoping to get them to send home. First off, I actually thought they were gone already, but apparently we've still got some of them there. And it will be curious to see if any of them do leave, and if they ever do leave, do we instantly start having attacks again, which would be really bad looking on Los Angeles, wouldn't it? So I think Trump's obviously playing hardball against these judges. This is being appealed. Trump was certainly fine doing this. He, in no way, shape, or form, was breaking the Posse Comitatus Act. In fact, the Salyer, I think is their lead attorney or whatever, says the military has never engaged in direct law enforcement operations here in L.A. They protect our federal employees, our properties, so our federal agents can safely enforce federal laws in the face of the thugs being unleashed and encouraged by state and local politicians. So there's none of this has even been done. So again, it needs to get in front of the big courts, obviously. We all know that. Here is the crime map for Chicago. These are homicides, sexual assaults, robberies, aggravated assaults, aggravated battery. Every single one of these red things is one of those 5 things I just listed off. You can tell they're all over the place. Lots of them. And this was over a 2-week period of time. Not an insanely long period of time to have that many crimes. So when Trump says the crime in Chicago sucks balls, he's not joking. Though, here's the Chicago mayor. I mean, again, they snipped this in an interesting way, but whatever the case is, his words will haunt him for a long time.
Shootings will continue as long as this presidential administration continues to put politics over people.
He hasn't even come into your city yet, and you're saying it's all going to continue because Trump's talking about stuff. You've had shootings prior to Trump talking about stuff all over the place. So again, this is not going to look good on the Democrats, not in any way, shape, or form. Baltimore got a really serious fire going on.
But they lighting downtown Baltimore on fire? What's going on? Got a Jesuit ritual in my backyard. What the fuck going on?
Yeah, no idea what building that is. I don't know if they're... Yeah, they don't even tell us. It's in downtown Baltimore is the best we got information-wise. Also had a gentleman, I can call him that, 5'5" Asian feller, walking around with a long gun. I got images of this. This is in Massachusetts.
Call 911. Oh my god. Brooke, call 911. Call 911.
Really goofy way to be walking with a rifle, though, right? Like walking, like just constantly looking down the scope. Like, what are you doing? That's weird. Whatever the case is, guy's probably not stable. Wonder if he's transgender. Divided Fifth Circuit is blocking Trump's use of the Alien Enemies Act for deportations. A split panel judge here rejected Trump's appeal that he can activate special deportation rules when the nation is being damaged by mass migration organized by foreign governments. So again, this is Trump's basically saying, look, other countries are encouraging this. This is why it's happening. We're being invaded. It's an army type coming in. And they're like, no, we're not going to let you say that. So whatever the case is, this will get up to the Supreme Court. The 2 judges who opposed Trump's claims were appointed by George Bush and Joe Biden. So again, George Bush, one of the nastiest ever. A lot of people a lot of people on the left will be, well, it's a Republican. No, it's not. This is like the worst, actually, is this guy. Probably the worst. I'd say he's even worse than Obama. He put some of that crap into play. Anti-Trump Judge Bovsberg, he released the woman arrested for threatening to kill Trump. Now, I don't know. She's got a ankle monitor on. She can only go to and from work. She's a chick. She's not like special forces trained. So frankly, I don't think Trump's at risk of her actually being able to kill him. So keeping her in jail, I don't think is necessary. Personally, she's in a whole world of hurt. There's no way around that. And Boasberg's not saving her from that. So I don't know. I think that's just meant to piss people off. I don't think it's actually as bad as it sounds. Migration towards the U.S. is down 97%. 97% reduction in people coming here. They've noticed it from multiple countries, and this is actually reports that are compiled by the governments of Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, yada, yada. Venezuela, in fact, shows that theirs has dropped to 97%. Migrants cited tougher U.S. policies, being unable to cross the border, and there's some others, there's 17% that are talking about fear of detention and deportation. 17%. Again, always interesting, the numbers they use. Very strange. I swear to God, 78.6% of all statistics are made up on the spot. I'm telling you, folks. I'm telling you. Trump's going to deploy National Guard to Chicago, Baltimore, Maryland. And apparently the Maryland governor was caught half naked on Clooney's yacht. I don't know, a lot of strange stuff that is going on in the world, but Trump is definitely planning on sending National Guard in to Chicago, and should, for that matter, right?
Yeah.
Mr. President, have you decided you're definitely going to send National Guard troops to Chicago?
I didn't say when, but the answer is, look, Chicago's very interesting because I watched Pritzker get up and say about, we don't need help, we're safe. But 2 weeks ago, they had 6 people murdered, and they had 24 people hit by bullets. Last week, as you know, it was 7 people, 24 people hit, and 7 people died. And then over the last 2 days, that was the crown jewel. They had, I guess, 9 or 10 killed, and 50 hit with bullets. And you have this governor get up, who's a terrible governor. Probably he and Gavin Newsom would be probably the 2 worst and most naive. They're naive. Either they're naive or they're very untruthful. And he'll say, we don't want any protection. We don't need. So in the last 3 weeks, he's lost almost 20 people killed. There's no place in the world, including you can go to Afghanistan, you can go to places that you would think of. They don't even come close to this.
Yeah, we got some pretty nasty stuff going on. So we are talking about, well, crime and him doing something about it. Promises made, promises kept. Obviously, it's going to piss people off. I think some of why he talks about it is because he wants to get them fired up. I think he wants to actually push some of the crime out into the streets, right? See if he can get them to start protesting and stupid stuff like that. Because those things will spin out of control. And the second they do spin out of control, Trump can then send in the National Guard because they're not doing anything about it. Because in all cases, almost all cases, and Trump's doing this intentionally, the federal government's going to be who's targeted. So they're going to target federal buildings, most likely ICE. It's also why he's pushing into cities with ICE. He's trying to get them. He's baiting them. Trump's doing this all on purpose. And he's talking a lot of talk because he knows the left, it just drives him insane. Trump's talking about he is going to be meeting Putin. I've got that coming up later, so good enough. I mean, we don't need to necessarily listen to it, but yeah, we've got the left is starting to just melt. I mean, they're just having some severe problems. Kash Patel, here is the big thing I was talking about on the thumbnail, and Kash Patel is talking about a bunch of people, children specifically, that have been saved. Thousands.
1,500 kilograms of fentanyl is enough to kill 115 million Americans. 115 million Americans. Cops are getting after it. The FBI has arrested 19,000 people this year alone. Thanks to President Trump's administrations, that's double than where we were this time last year. And we have also arrested 1,600 people who have committed violent acts against children. 270 of them are human traffickers of children. Mr. President, this is what happens when you have great leadership at the Attorney General with Pam Bondi, your administration's priority of protecting the homeland and protecting American citizens and protecting our children, and the murder rates are plummeting. We are now able to report that the murder rate is on track to be the lowest in U.S. history, in modern recorded U.S. history, thanks to this team behind me and President Trump's priorities. And how do we do it?
No one's going to believe it, though. You guys know that, right? Nobody outside of our side of this is going to believe any of these numbers. None of them. One thing you can believe, though, is you're going to get the best night of sleep you've ever had when you get a MyPillow. MyPillow is incredible, and you will love it. They're giving free shipping still. We're going to get to hold on to this a little bit longer, plus the closeout sale on the Percale sheets. Any size, any color, so long as they're in stock, you're actually going to get for $29.88. All of them. Yeah, I mean, $150 for king size percale sheets normally, $29.88. Queen size, I don't know, they're like 140, 130, $29.88. Twins, normally like 40 something, $29.88. Everything, any size, any color. You don't want to lose out on that opportunity. Plus the My Slippers, they're blowing these out as well. $39.98 is best price you're going to see all year on these. Even the Christmas sale, likely going to be more in the $40 range. We'll see. We'll see. They get crazy every once in a while. And the employee pricing on the box pillow, $19.98, incredible. So you can get that. Normally it's going to be $70. These are great pillows, by the way. It's got that same fill that I love. I love this pillow. This is why I fell in love with the company. This is the version I use, but it's the same thing. This is the Knife's Edge version. It starts at $17.98. Again, just incredible products. The Giza sheets, $69.88. That's where they're starting at. Again, that's the highest quality, highest thread count. They're just gorgeous sheets. Those are actually the ones I use. I will say I'm a little spoiled. They're incredible. I've never used the percale sheets. Don't know. I love the Giza sheets. I love them. They're awesome sheets. I've got a few pair, obviously, so, you only swap them out once a week, right? Come on. How crazy do you got to get? Towels, $9.99 for the dish towels. We've also got the best bath towels ever. You're going to love them. And 50% off the beach towels. These are actually they're full-size adult towels. Like, I'm 6 foot tall, and if I was holding it up, like, it's wider than my body, and it's taller than me. They're awesome, 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 awesome towels. Rev 7 energy drink, you seriously got to try it. They've got little 3-packs so you can try it. I think once you've had it, especially if you're someone that likes energy drinks or you're on the go a lot, these are awesome. The energy is it's weird. It doesn't get you jittery. It's not addictive. I mean, Mike Lindell's drinks these, and he was a total crackhead, right? So you got to obviously be careful about addictive qualities. The stuff's amazing. The green apple tastes just like a Jolly Rancher green apple. The lemonade is delicious, and the blueberry citrus is my personal favorite. The blue one, it's so damn good. And it's blueberry citrus. I don't know. That's what it's what it basically tastes like. Tastes blue. That's good. It's delicious. Dog beds, you got to get the dog beds, and we got Panjamas going outlet sale happening. Check it out. Blankets, everything else. Coffee too. Again, you're getting free shipping, right? 50% off coffee. If you're somebody that just likes a cup of coffee in the morning and you're not like crazy about where you get it from, Dunkin', 7-Eleven, you don't care, like wherever the hell you go. And no slam on either of those, by the way. This is awesome coffee from that standpoint. 50% off. You're not going to be able to beat it, and they're shipping it to you for free. Also, the My Cross, sterling silver. They got a men and women's. They've got the black innard with a silver outer, and they've also got a white inner with a black outer. It's actually, both of those are very, very pretty. And it's the one that Mike Lindell wears. So if you'd like to wear something similar to that, it's a beautiful necklace. You're getting 50% off of that using the super awesome OTF coupon code. There you go. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. mypillow.com/OTF. Once again, just because it's fun, mypillow.com/OTF. Get the best night of sleep you've ever had. And you seriously will. That's the cool part. The first time you use that pillow, you're going to be like, oh my God, I did not know this was possible. Months after probing Clinton's server scandal, Comey's FBI had its own private email issue, we've come to find out. When investigators in the criminal probe, codenamed Tropic Vortex, sought permission in 2019 to gain access to those private emails, federal prosecutors turned them down, according to the memos recently uncovered by current FBI Director Kash Patel and declassified for release to Congress by Attorney General Pam Bondi. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington, D.C. issued a prosecutorial declination decision for Tropic Vortex, the memo says. Memos are the latest evidence that FBI agents on the front lines had serious concerns about illegal leaks and abuses of classified information allegedly involving major figures in Washington, like Comey, now Senator Adam Schiff, also Clinton. These efforts at the investigating were repeatedly thwarted, stopped, shot down. So a lot of information's coming out. We're going to continue to move down those paths and see where that gets us. All right, whole bunch of Epstein stuff. Let's see. We got Epstein accuser urges Trump to press for files release. I think this is Marjorie Taylor Greene. How long is it? 4 minutes? Whatever. Marjorie Taylor Greene came out and wants Trump to release these files, which I think they've already been released technically, but whatever. GOP leaders are urging Republicans not to sign this Epstein discharge petition that they're trying to push around. So Mike Johnson had basically a closed door meeting, and basically told everyone, look, here's the thing. Don't sign this thing, all right? Don't sign this document that's going around. Let the Oversight and Government Reforms Committee be the ones to own this, handle this, release the documents, make sure they're redacted properly. Like, let's let it go through that committee, please, because that's what that committee's for. And that committee's got people on it that people trust. So, again, it's people like Thomas Massie and shitheads like that that are actually trying to push us really hard. Well, and Democrats. And again, they've got to have an assumption that there's something in there they expect to see that's somehow damaging to Trump. Otherwise, I don't know why they'd be pushing it, because for the most part, this is going to be damaging to probably some lawmakers, certainly Democrats, but probably Republicans too. And I don't know, maybe this is like, one, maybe there's nothing, right? There's that, which we'll find out. I don't think there's a lot. I don't think it's going to be nothing, but I don't think there's a lot. But also probably some planted stuff. Those things I don't think are going to come out. I'm pretty sure Trump administration is going to be smart enough to have an investigation involving those documents, because you want to look into who created them and why. But we've got a funny little situation where certain people are going to get busted in this. Maybe Thomas Massie's not going to get caught up in this particular mess, but I'm sure we've got some dirt on Thomas in many other places. We'll see. Oversight Committee, they released, this is the group that Johnson wants everybody to just let them handle it. So they released a butt ton of stuff. 33,295 pages of Epstein-related records that were provided by the Department of Justice. Now, this has upset some people. John Harold being one of them. Badlands Media, like John a lot. I've had him on my show a couple times way back in the day when he was doing his stuff before he became the biggest guy on the planet. And then I think one time on the Glitch in the Matrix, we had him on, which was pretty cool. So he's talking about, jokingly, that this is transparency, right? He's like, look, all this redactions. And then down here, he gets pretty pissed. He goes, these MRFers can't do anything right. Instead of putting the Epstein files out in an easily digestible and searchable PDF Word doc format, every single page was uploaded as an image individually. I'm going to speak to that slightly. And again, no slam on anybody. But, John, I've worked in the image capturing world a little bit. It is much, much harder to hack an image file and change it than it is to hack a PDF or especially a Word doc. But both of those are extraordinarily easy to alter. So these docs could easily be altered. Putting them out as images, I admit, makes them trickier to scan. There are a lot of scanning softwares out there, by the way. I used to work for a company that did that professionally. I actually changed their name. I don't know what the hell they're called now, but they that's what they do. They were able to scrape data off a scan. So the software exists. It's just, it's harder to deal with. So I get your frustration. You can't just do a bunch of searches on these docs or download them all and then, to easily start to dig through them. So I admit, it like literally it's going to take a long time for us all to go through them and read them physically. Because you can't even do like a control find on them. That doesn't even work, right? Like none of that stuff works. Epstein victims and survivors on Capitol Hill. We'll go ahead and play this.
Transparency is justice. Release the files. End the secrecy. And stand with us in declaring that no one, no billionaires, no politicians, not world leaders, is above the law. And let me announce now, several of us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list of names. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors. No one else is involved. Stay tuned for more details on that. Because history is watching, and so are the women who will come after us. Thank you.
Interesting. He's got the butterfly, the monarch butterfly. I'm assuming it's the monarch because that's actually the one that's statistically done with the MK Ultra and programming. So interesting in that regards. I mean, again, it could be symbolic for good reasons and could also just be blatant assholeness. But it is great that they're coming out. I would be careful. Obviously, slander's a funny thing, but if there's people that they can say they've spent time with multiple times and have witnessed firsthand them doing stuff, well, that's going to be bad for a bunch of people. Now, this is interesting. NBC News obviously trying to slam and slime Donald Trump. They failed here when they had the Epstein people, their survivors, and trying to get them to admit that Trump was nefariously involved somehow.
I do have to ask, and I know, and it's just something that I think we're compelled to at this moment, with the attention on President Trump, with these questions around a pardon. Did anybody see or hear of the president himself doing anything inappropriate as it related to Jeffrey Epstein?
No, like not even a second of that. Trump was never involved with these people. Now we finally got the missing minutes of security footage. And there's a dude that walks up to the door. I don't know, it doesn't look like he did anything. But it is funny that this is what got cut out. Obviously, I would assume they were afraid that people would be like, see, somebody went in. It's like, yeah, but he didn't do anything. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to say he did or didn't, but there is the missing footage. Now, I will say I'm going to skip it ahead a little because they've got 3 minutes of video or 2:45, and it's this, right? We've seen this video, 46, right? That's supposedly, I think, where he's at. This dude's going to walk in from over here. He's going to come up some stairs or something over here and then go into this room. All right, and this happens right about here. Right here, right? This is where the dude starts walking in. Boom. Okay? There he is. There he's walking in. Come on in. Come on in. The water's fine. So, yeah, there he goes. He doesn't have gloves on, right? You'd think he'd have, like, latex gloves on if he was about to kill somebody. That's for sure. You don't want your prince showing up. So he's going in there doing normal stuff, doing some sort of funky thing to open up the door. Whatever the hell. Finally gets it open. Kind of crazy what they got to do to open the door. Old school, like, no key locks. These are some sort of thing. But yeah, there he goes. Goes in. I'm guessing that's either A, the hallway, or that's actually Jeffrey's cell. So, I don't know. That's supposedly the missing time. We'll see. Again, I feel like there's a little something maybe still missing. Like, why? Well, let's see the continuation shot. When does he walk out of that room, right? So, again, I don't feel like that's over yet, but it is funny. It feels like we're really tricking the Democrats into this. Am I wrong on this? Like, again, I've been kind of, I don't want to say on the fence. I mean, I don't really care. I don't think there's maybe as much information that people expect to see, but whatever. Like, I don't care. I don't frankly give a crap. And I don't think Epstein's alive. I don't think he killed himself, but I don't think he's alive. Maybe he is. I don't care. It doesn't matter. If he is, he is. Cool. If he's not, he's not. To me, it doesn't change anything. I feel like Ghislaine Maxwell probably knows more about a lot of stuff than him. But we are in a place where the Dems are pushing hard for this now. And I'm assuming it's because they've got it in their heads that there's information about Trump. When that doesn't come out, what are they going to say then? We know there's information in there about Trump. How do you know that? Who told you anything was in there, first off? Second off, what are you talking about? Let's have a closed-door meeting and have a discussion. But if you're going to talk about stuff publicly that could potentially be involved in investigations, then, well, you got to be really careful. So they've got some upper hand here, basically. RFK Jr. critic, I should say, has been blocked from the FDA vaccine advisory panel. His term has expired, and he was not renewed. Other people have their terms expiring as well. We'll see if they get renewed, but this particular individual, Paul Offit, who absolutely hates RFK Jr., he's being blocked. He's no longer allowed on the Food and Drug Administration vaccine advisory panel. Changes are happening. Florida moves to end all school vaccine mandates. Pretty big deal. So good on DeSantis for doing all that crazy stuff. We've also got him talking about the creation of the Florida Maha Commission. Again, DeSantis doing some great work. Maybe there's a presidential future somewhere for him. Maybe vice president under J.D. Vance. That'd be interesting. But whatever the case is, we'll see.
To be here today to make the first announcement, and Joe Latipo is going to make another announcement. But today I'm pleased to announce the establishment of the Florida Maha Commission as a working group which will recommend state-level integration of these Make America Healthy principles. And those principles are, as I mentioned, individual medical freedom, informed consent, parent rights, and also market innovation. It will be chaired by First Lady Casey DeSantis and our Lieutenant Governor, Jay Collins, and will also include Surgeon General Joe Ladapo, ACA Secretary Siobhan Harris, DCF Secretary Taylor Hatch, Elder Affairs Secretary Michelle Branham, Department of Environmental Protection Secretary Alexis Lambert, as well as experts in the fields of nutrition, health, vaccine safety, and family practice. The commission will have several main objectives, including, and Joe Ladapo does a good job on this, promoting clean, safe, and nutritious food industry, improving transparency and accountability in healthcare, working on the causes of chronic diseases to identify and prevent future occurrences, and, maybe more importantly, restoring trust in the medical profession and in public health. The Florida MAHA Commission will prioritize reforms that empower Floridians, reduce regulatory burdens, and hold actors accountable for their conduct while fostering incentives for healthy living and innovation. And I think that this is something that has great potential. We've already done a lot, and I don't think there's any state that has done even close to what we've done in the state of Florida over these many years, but there's always more to do. We always want to stay ahead of the curve, and I know Joe
Yeah, they're so far ahead of the curve compared to any other state. I mean, it's just awesome what's going on. Good job. I mean, it's just incredible. Love it. Bill Gates, he created an organic version of his fruits and vegetables appeal coating called Organapeel. And you can't make this up. This chick's pretty fired up about it. But for you guys that are into, and I hope we got a lot of healthy living people out there, you guys that are into organics, be paying attention to this particular product because it's not good for us.
So you're telling me you still think organic means it's safe to eat? We all know that Bill Gates launched a product called Appeal, a coating for fruits and vegetables that abnormally extends shelf life. But did you know there is an organic version called Organapeel that is sprayed on your organic produce? Sounds harmless, right? Until you find out that Organapeel is registered as a pesticide with the EPA, but it still qualifies for that organic sticker. Now here's where it gets insane. The ingredients list of Organapeel, you have citric acid 0.66% and other ingredients 99.34%. There's no transparency, there's no full disclosure, you are just receiving a mystery coating on your food. And the warning label causes moderate eye irritation, avoid contact with eyes or clothing, wear safety glasses before handling, wash thoroughly with soap and water after handling and before eating, drinking, chewing gum, using tobacco, or using the toilet. So you need safety glasses to use this, but it's okay to eat? But don't worry, they say it's plant-based. But so was Agent Orange. So next time you bite into your organic produce, ask yourself, what am I really eating? Just something to think about.
Yeah, and I've heard you can't really wash it off, but obviously you want to give it a go if you're going to get it, or just try to stay away from products that use it, and ultimately those companies will learn not to use it. Now, again, anything that Bill Gates is behind, you should instantly question. Instantly. All right, there's a lot of stuff going on with Alex Jones. I'm not a big fan. I kind of feel like maybe some of y'all are. So there's the, Owen Sherwin or whatever the hell his name is. I don't know. There's this riff that's happened between them. I'm going to play it in about 5-6 minutes for both these guys to talk. What the hell? I don't know. Might matter to some of you. If not, skip ahead. But this was going to be interesting. Owen Schroyer leaves Infowars, and he gives his side of it, and we're going to hear Alex's side of it next.
Announced perfectly clear to Alex an hour ago. Now, I wanted to meet with Alex in the office tomorrow, and I told him that. I told him that last week after I left the studio. He texted me, and I said, Alex, let's talk next week. I said, I don't want to talk about it now. I'm done for the week. Let's talk next week. We communicated a little over the weekend, and then today I said, let's meet. Let's have a meeting tomorrow before your show, whenever you want. Let's meet tomorrow before your show. And maybe we can talk this out, work it out. And he said, no, let's just talk now. And so he called me. Now, my intentions, and I told him this, I wanted to go in this week. I wanted to go in tomorrow. And I wanted to finish this week, and I wanted to finish positively at Infowars. And, I even said if he wanted me to kind of stick around like a satellite to go down with the ship, that I'd be willing to play some sort of a satellite role to go down with the ship and be a part of that and continue, wearing the name on the front of the jersey for at least some semblance while it's still ongoing. And he didn't express any interest in that. And so he told me that he didn't need me and good luck. And that was that. That was that. So I wanted to make this announcement on Infowars. I wanted to make this announcement with Alex. That actually meant a lot to me. That's what I wanted. I wanted to leave in a very positive fashion. I wanted to announce it to the Infowars audience on the Infowars airwaves. I wanted Alex and the crew and everybody to be there, and I wanted to shake Alex's hand. I wanted to thank him for everything. I wanted to just go down memory lane of all the things that we've done, but he wasn't interested in that, and he said, don't come in this week, so that was that. So now here I am announcing that it's done. I will not be on Infowars. I don't know if ever again. Won't be hosting the War Room this week. And I don't really know what else there is to say about that, other than it's not how I wanted it to be, but I was left with no choice.
So again, I don't have any judgment. I don't follow either. I don't really listen to Alex Jones anymore. I used to back in the day. I just don't anymore. He kind of went off the edge at some point for me, but whatever. And his voice, his poor voice, man. Just I feel so bad every time I hear him talk. It makes my throat hurt. Anyway. I love hearing Joe Rogan actually imitate him. He does such a good job of him. Anyway, whatever.
He would try to control the show. He would.
Let's let Alex tell his version of it.
He would try to control the show. He would whatever. Total lie. And then as all the articles come out, and Jones censored Schroyer on Trump criticism and Israel. So let's see if Schroyer comes out and apologizes for you. Oh, no, he's going to say, I didn't really exactly say that. No, you couched each statement perfectly thought out and looking down at your notes to be able to lie about us and try to hurt this organization for your benefit so you can be a hero. You are a snake. You are a rat. You are a fraud. You are a backstabber. You are a handbiter. You are a disgrace. And let me say something else about you. Even before he went to prison for 4 months, and we did the crowdfunding, raised, fought everything for him, all that, he stopped talking to the crew very much and didn't have a good attitude, was pissed off all the time. And then it got to where he'd show up right before the show, wouldn't even talk to the crew. He'd walk by me and say something like, just sort of laughing at me. Like, I'm not in junior high, so it didn't hurt me at that level. It hurt me that he was just like, yeah, I heard you, yes. Oh, and we can go further. When The Onion, backed by Bloomberg, did the fraudulent auction and got caught in all of that back in November, on November 13th, and I said, we're not leaving, this is a fraud, I'm filing emergency motion. The judge found it to be a fraud. Got a 2-day hearing on all that. Owen just left and just called the producer and said, I'm done, I quit. Even though we have a backup studio, I told everybody, hey, it's going to be fine. We have new backers, all this stuff we get shut down. He's like, I'm gone. Starts announcing, is this the time? Because Infowars being shut down, he thinks, announce his new network and funding and all this stuff. And then we're back the next day, and Owen just shows back up and does his show and walks in and just looks at me with hatred and like slinks in there, just because he really wanted me to fire him so he could be a victim. And I confided just in a few of the producers. I said, he wants to be a victim. I said, I'm going to have love and say prayers for him that he gets better. Be really nice to him, give him extra bonuses. Maybe he'll pull out of it. I try to talk to him. He's never wanted to talk to me. And I said, he's going to stab me in the back. He's a new person. And I don't know if it's his personal life. I don't know if it's stuff he's smoking. But I've seen a lot of people get paranoid, they smoke pot and go nuts. But I can just tell you this right now, that I'm not here to be shit on or stabbed in the back. This crew isn't your punching bag, and we did nothing to you but be loyal. And your little 5-hour extravaganza of little puppy dog that doesn't know why, and he just wanted to come back and shake my hand and be nice, and then I kind of censored him and said, no, you don't need to host your show. You want to hear what he said in the phone call to me? I didn't record it. I was in the pool with my 8-year-old daughter, playing with her Barbie dolls at whatever it was, 4 o'clock yesterday.
Why is he able to talk normal there? Hang on.
What he said in the phone call to me, I didn't record it. I was in the pool with my 8-year-old daughter playing with her Barbie dolls at whatever it was, 4 o'clock yesterday, you know, a rare
Hang on.
is in your punching bag, and we did nothing to you but be loyal. And your
Gets
little
that scratch out of it.
extravaganza of little puppy dog that doesn't know why, and he just wanted to come back and shake my hand and be nice.
And then he does it.
I kind of censored him and said, "No."
When he gets out of his voice,
you want to hear what he said?
Still not doing it.
I didn't record it.
Now it's coming in.
Pool with my daughter.
That grovel. What is that? Ow, it's so weird. So anyway, it hurts my throat hearing him talk. Again, sorry, just for things. I trip on the weirdest shit. I know. You guys are like, sometimes got to be like, what? Dan, really? Okay. Squad member Omar's huge leap in wealth. We talked about this. I just feel like it's good to keep this on the front burner. They're extrapolating the numbers to the extent, like largest extent possible. That sounds stupid. Let me say that a different way. There's a range of the tax of the stock value, and it's like 5 million to it's either 6 million to 30 million or 5 million to 30 million, whatever. So that's the range. Okay. Initially, they were in the lower bucket, the lower range, under 5 million. Now they're in the upper range. Everyone's upped it all the way to 30 million. I'm not trying to give her any points. I just like to be fair with the numbers. I am like a weirdo when it comes to the data and trying to manipulate it honestly. Well, trying to explain it as honestly as I know how to. Again, data's like my thing. I love data. Love data. I did it for so many years. 30 years I did data. In some weird way, shape, or form. Love data. You can do so much with data. Oh, my God. Erdogan slams, or Erdogan, as Trump says it, slams U.S. for blocking Palestinian leaders at the UN. They're all coming here to try to make a two-state system for Palestine. Trump's against a two-state system for Palestine. They're literally coming to our country in New York, where the UN is, to do exactly that. To make a declaration from the United States, like it somehow is sponsored by the United States, when in fact Trump's going to be like, no, thank you very much. Thank you for attention to this matter. Suck it. I don't know. Any number of those choices. So we'll see. A lot going on. Putin reveals details of a major Russia-China gas deal. They're talking about 100 billion cubic meters of gas a year. It's quite a bit. A lot of gas. I'd say I don't want to quantify it, but yeah, it's 100 BCMs, so it's kind of quantified. That said, they got a special pipeline that's already going to do this. What this does, though, what is sad about this, what's bad about this, is one, like Europe and all of what we're doing with our sanctions, it's not mattering because Russia and China don't give a shit what we say. They're definitely the two other world powers, three-poled world. So whatever we say doesn't matter. And we can't force it. It's one of the funniest things when you hear like newscasters like, well, can't you force it? No, you can't force it. What are you going to be like, I'm going to nuke you if you don't do this? I mean, it's just funny how control used to be and how it is now. And Trump, again, is the perfect guy for the transition that we're going through right now. I mean, people are criticizing. People say whatever they want. People are going to couch quarterback. People are going to have opinions, one side or the other, and they're going to change their mind. Oh, you didn't even see it. I just jumped back and forth. But they're going to change their minds constantly. Okay? It doesn't matter. Like I frequently say, if it's happened already, then it was, as far as I'm concerned, God is behind it. Okay, I'm not going to question it. I'm not going to be like, it shouldn't happen. It happened. So, yeah, it was supposed to happen. It did happen. It had to happen. It was supposed to happen. That's why it happened. Nothing happens on accident. And I mean that in the sense of once it's happened, it's done. It's gone through all of the hands. It's gone through everybody's choosing. It's gone through God's hands. It's done. Okay? This is the final thing. Boom. There it is. Your present moment. Oh, shit, that happened? Okay. Well, there must be a reason for it. And that's what I do. Frankly, the difference between a master and a student. When something happens, the master realizes this is leading to the next thing. All right, cool. The student doesn't. The student sees the calamity and goes, oh, woe is me, and gets lost in the mire or muck, depending. It's a big difference. So again, if it's in real life, this is how it should be. Don't question it. You can't. It's how it is. God chose this. Or, we did collectively. It's really probably closer to the truth, but whatever works in your belief best. So yeah, the EU's losing out big time on its gas lifeline. Russia's pushing it all now over to China. And they actually worked out a pretty sweet deal in China where they're going to pay it, I guess. I didn't know this was a thing because they both got funky currencies and stuff. So, they got to figure out how to do that. But they're both going to base it off of the trading price of oil. Now, I assume they've got some sort of conversion for their currency. They'll work all that out. Not my problem. Don't know if they're going to do it. They're going to get some stuff that they can use to spend in China, and China's going to get some rubles that they can, spend in Russia for stuff. I mean, I don't know. There's some trade going back and forth on a few different things. So we'll see. Every ruble that China ends up with, they could use to buy energy. So this is the ability for Russia and China to kind of create some sort of natural trade. Neither one of those countries wants a bunch of the other country's currency. They just don't. A little bit, sure, but the dollar, you could use it everywhere. That was a different thing. It was the world currency. It was a different story, and it still kind of sort of is. But there's no BRICS currency yet. They're not trading in BRICS yet. If that happens, we'll see, but it's so far not. President Trump says tariffs could replace federal income tax. Oh, this is pissing so many people off. And it's just funny, too, how the left is getting on the, the bad side of this. They're like they got to fight Trump, and it's like, tariffs are awesome. How is this a bad thing? What exactly is it? First off, we've had them for 7-8 months now. Well, a bunch of them for a while. Anyways, many months. And stocks didn't, they freak out when they talk about it the one day, but then everything neutralizes back out. Things are not as dire as they were supposed to be. Prices are going to quintuple. You're going to go broke. No, none of that's happened. None of it has happened. Not even a smidgen. Man.
You've also mentioned before it could possibly replace federal income tax. Possibly. Do you think that's
Someday it's possible. It used to be. So if you go back to 1913 is when they ended tariffs. We were the richest ever from 1850. It was all tariffs. We didn't have income taxes. From 1850 to 1913. In the 1887s, about 1887, they had the Great National Tariff Act. And it was a group of people that got together because our country was so rich, they didn't know what to do with the money. We had so much money, they didn't know what to do. It was a group of very prominent people that were set up to hand out money to everybody because we were the richest we ever were. Proportionately, we were in 1887, around that time, even in 1913. We ended them in 1913. How did that work out? And then we went to the income tax system, and then we had the Depression. And by the way, a lot of people try and say that, tariffs with the Depression. No, they ended in 1913, and then we went to income tax, and then in 1929 you had the Depression. They did try and bring it back in 1931-32, but the Depression had long started, and this poor, beautiful nation was gone. It was gone. We suffered for 25 years. It took 25, 30 years to really recover from the Depression. And we don't ever want to see that happen again. The tariffs are vital to the success of this country. When I say I ended 7 wars, at least half of those wars were ended because of the power of tariffs. I was able to say, well, we're not doing any business with you, or if you're going to war, we're putting a big tariff on you. And all of a sudden they announced that the war was settled. I settled 7 different wars.
Now, it didn't work for Russia because Russia's been sanctioned for so long, they've built an entire economy around that. And China, too. Well, China's just China. They're like the big elephant in the room, and they can kind of do what they want to do. So can we. That's the trick. So the balancing of these powers. Now, China, they have a different economy, though. We have a consumer-based economy that actually drives a lot of wealth, a big time. China doesn't. They have a supplier-based economy. And when supply gets stopped or slowed down, that F's with them badly. Now, it sucks when we stop buying stuff. That's a problem, too, in the United States. We get through it. It all happens, but both sides of us have a problem. China, when people stop buying their stuff. Us, when we just stop buying stuff, period. When we stop spending our money. Everything in this economy is based on us spending our money. All of us. Powerful how that plays out as well. Trump tariff revenues hit record $31 billion. I think they're up, what was we had a number for the year, 183 billion for the year. 183 billion so far this year. Just extra money. Here's Trump. He's hanging out with, by the way, this is the president of Poland, the dude from Poland. I think it's president. Nice guy. Trump was kind of excited about him coming out here, whatever the case. But Trump says tariffs could oh, cool. Okay, I had this twice. That's how good that story is. Yeah, remember that. Whoops. Markets are signaling something major is about to hit. Without getting lost in the weeds, first off, gold did go over 36. In fact, we'll see. It was like already heading closer to 37. Silver broke 42, which is wow. Like silver's like taken off. So a lot is happening. The world is stocks are, so this whole article talks about inflation and the point when inflation actually becomes so high where it actually becomes a problem with stocks, where it has this ratio between gold going up versus stocks going up. And right now gold's the one that's going back. So kind of how it talks about is gold was king and it was the better investment for the first part of this year. Then right around late April, gold kind of flattened and stocks became the better place to put money. And right now they're seeing a giant vertical spike with gold and stocks. So this is a bad sign for the stock market. The stock market's definitely running out of runway, period. They're not going to get off. They don't have the speed. There's no way. There's too much bloat. There's too much weight. The stock market will not survive this. Now, it will in the big picture, but it needs to be revalued. It needs to be based off of an actual currency that's legitimate versus this crap Federal Reserve note that's inflating so fast. And the prices of gold and silver going up the way they are, it implies that their fear of inflation is well warranted, certainly, and also, well, likely. Like a good fear, basically, to prepare for. Like you want to have water and food just in case, right? Same thing. You want to have battery power or at least candles just in case, right? Yes. Same situation. So large companies right now filing bankruptcy, fastest pace in 15 years. This is a horrible sign. Horrible sign. According to Newsweek, 446 large companies filed for bankruptcy during the first 7 months of this year. It's the highest total we've seen since 2010. U.S. saw a sharp increase in corporate bankruptcy filings in July, according to a recent report, reaching post-COVID peak, replacing the 2025 on track to surpass last year's total. S&P Global Market Intelligence, the research and data arm of the credit rating agency, found that filings by large public and private companies rose to 71 last month from 66 in June, marking the highest monthly tally since 2020 of July. So things are heading in a bad way. That's just bankruptcy filings for the bigger companies. So a lot of people didn't realize bankruptcy numbers were this bad. According to statistics released by the Administrative Office, annual bankruptcy filings totaled 542,000 in the year ending in June 2025, compared with 486,000 cases in the previous year. So a big bump from 486 to 542. Big bump in companies going bankrupt. Researchers found that more than 250 farms have filed for Chapter 12 bankruptcy between April 2024 and March of this year. Now, a lot of those were being bought up by China. They were. China's having issues right now, thank God. So we are in a big old problem. Big old problem. Yeah, big old problem. Now, I'm curious to see where we get on this. Gold and silver were up a bit today. It's gone down a little, looks like, but it's still up a bunch. It's 36.22 for gold. So again, well past 36. Big, huge movements by gold. Silver as well. We were up over 42 earlier today. We can get back up there, but we were up over 42. There's a big old spike that happened. Interesting there. A bunch of people bought silver at one time, 42.21. Right now, the highest price I think silver's been. That's huge. That implies that the dollar is losing power for sure. And then two, because a lot of people are realizing that gold and silver are a smart move, they're also realizing that I got to get out of the stock market. There's all sorts of evidence. Folks, if you've got a 401k or an IRA that's based off stocks and the dollar, I'm sorry. You're very low on time. We don't know exactly what's going on. I'm not trying to freak you out, but I'll tell you what, I think it's way better at this point to try to protect as much of your wealth as you can. And that's what precious metals do, by the way, is they protect the buying power. Now, gold's going up in price, sure, which is because your dollar is losing value every single day. So whatever you can buy for an ounce of gold, that'll stay. Now, a lot of people talk about how you could have gotten a full tailored suit back at 1900 for 1 ounce of gold. Fully tailored suit, handmade suit, right? They'd measure you and all that 9 yards, and they'd sew it up, and be a hand-tailored suit would fit perfectly. You can still buy a hand-tailored suit today for the same value of what an ounce of gold is. It holds its value. Dollar doesn't. Your stocks don't either, because there's a big problem coming there. But the dollar itself is losing buying power. Precious metals don't. What you lock in right now is the buying power you'll get. Now, if you would have locked in buying power a year ago, it would have been better. If you lock in buying power 3 months from now, it will be worse. If you have a 401k or an IRA, my friends at Goldco can help you get out of it quick, tax-free, penalty-free, up to 10% free silver just for saying thank you, probably a free Ronald Reagan coin. Seriously, hit them up, drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. They handle all of it. They've got the best customer service. They'll answer every question you've got, and they will make sure you do this properly. There are many steps along the way. Go to drslikeSgold.com. That's your first step. That's the most important step. Go to drslikeSgold.com. Get out of that system while you can. Take as much of it with you as you can, and you'll see, like everybody else, wow, I made the right choice. The prices of gold and silver I've not been wrong yet, and we're not done. And breaking 40 was a big deal, so it's kind of starting to run. I wouldn't wait, frankly. I'd try to get as much gold and silver as I could right now than waiting a month and having the price of silver $45, $46, $50. It's heading towards. Gold, who knows, 4,000, 5,000. Ultimately, many are saying 6, 7, 8, 9,000. It depends how bad this system's got to get before the moment. Go to drslikeSgold.com, drslikeSgold.com. Get out of that system before they get out of you, and they don't care about you at all. European Parliament is, they have a trade committee, and they're saying something about Trump's trade deal with Europe maybe could be amended. I'm very curious to see if they're going to try to come back and make an amendment. Trump, of course, then has the option to be like, no, sorry, or okay, that's fine. So we'll see where this is going, but this is the head of the European Parliament Trade Committee. We'll see what they think they can actually pull off, or what they're, I don't know. Crazy stuff going on. Israel, too, by the way, sort of a mess. And Trump's even called them out. Save Israel for last. Again, I've been bumping into a lot of interesting information around Yahweh, around the chosen people, Israel. There's a lot there. I don't want to get into necessarily all of it, but it definitely looks like there is a component here that needs to be really deeply unraveled. And this is one of those places that it's very third rail is what I call it. It's just an easy way. And I think anything that just tends to piss more people off than not tend to be these difficult paths to go. Again, I do it a lot, and it's unfortunate, and it really sucks. Frankly, it really sucks. It's not very much fun. It's not a lot of fun at all. But I meet some great people along the way that ultimately end up hating me because I somehow step on a toe or whatever. It's funny. It's a funny, funny world. I'm a really nice guy normally. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. It still trips me out. Rashida Tlaib hit with a censure threat after a divisive anti-Israel speech that she gave. People are going after her. Rep. Buddy Carter, she was talking about them. She was condemning the Democrats too, by the way, which is a big, big no-no. So they're going after her. Cool. Israel had total control over Congress, Trump said. They used to. They don't anymore have any control over Congress. He says they may be winning the war, but they're not winning the world of public relations. You know, it's hurting them. And Trump's right. I've said this a bunch of times too. The optics from Israel are horrible. Israel sucks at selling what they're doing. They suck at it. They're horrible at it. They're quite possibly the worst. Palestinians are much better at it. The Houthis are better at it. The Hamas are better at it than you, Israel. You suck at it. Seriously hire somebody to help you get better at it. Certainly don't ask me, because I wouldn't want that job. I wouldn't want that job for a million years. Netanyahu mulls annexation in West Bank as retribution for Europe's growing anti-Israel stance. Everybody wanted to do this Palestinian state, so now Netanyahu's like, all right, I'm going to pee all over your stuff then. You know, like, basically. So he's trying to kick it up a notch. This is what dictators do, by the way. And again, Trump is doing a weird tightrope walk on this one, and I've had questions about Netanyahu forever. It does seem like my questions are worthy of being answered, probably valid for that matter, but Israel for last, right? Again, love Jewish people. It's not an issue with that at all. But there's a lot of baked-in goodies that come from that part of the world. Someone had emailed me recently. It was a cool question. Ken, I think, is who asked this, but he's like, why does everyone hate Israel? Like, what is the deal with that? That's really weird, right? There's all these rumors. They're in charge of all the money. They're in charge of Hollywood. A lot of hatred towards these people. Why? You don't karmically end up with hate for no reason. If you're constantly walking around, picking people up, helping them out, dusting them off, oh my God. You don't get a reputation of being a dickhole. But when you're constantly stealing people's stuff and whatever, which is some of the stories, when you get into what probably created the modern day of Israel, and likely the version of the Old Testament at least, you start to understand the Khazarians were probably very behind this. And they have a habit of stealing people's identities, stealing people's lives, their money, and much more. Sounds awful similar to the deep state, doesn't it? So why do the Jews have so much hatred pointed at them? Again, I'm not saying that's okay. I know Jewish people. The guy I bought the house from was a lovely, awesome Jewish man that I'm still happily friends with. I think he's a wonderful individual. Lovely guy. Love him. He's a great guy. I don't think he's one of them. I don't know how to tell them apart, right? But there is something to be said about that. So Trump, he's got to finish off the National Endowment for Democracy. What is this? They are a government organization, or a non-government organization, I should say, that gets government money, I'm pretty sure, that goes against the Israeli group. I think over the years, NED adopted a view of democracy that held that nationalist and populist leaders campaigning for office around the world were in fact authoritarians and a threat to democracy. Like, these guys are just anti-everything. They're saying the bottom line is that for some $315 million of taxpayer money, the NED has been busy fomenting a foreign policy that was not just separate from the that was articulated by Trump, right? But actually opposed to it. So again, we were paying money. They're finding all these places where the dollars are dripping to the wrong locations. Again, here's another example. We're cutting it off, folks. We are making huge strides. Donald Trump says, tell Hamas to immediately give back all 20 hostages, not 2 or 5 or 7, and things will change rapidly. It will end. Otherwise, they're getting to a point where they kind of just almost going to have to be like, all right, we're going to lose 20 people possibly. They're going to be heroes, and we will celebrate them. Israel's beginning mass mobilizations to take the Gaza City. Some are suggesting this could take up to 2 months, but there is a huge upswell, trying to get a bunch of reservists. They're doing a whole bunch of stuff right now, so we'll see what exactly they're capable of doing, and I'm sure we're going to continue to hear about it. But 2 months is a ways off in the big picture. A lot of things could change in 2 months, especially considering the rumors that are floating around, right? Exactly, about September and October. It'll be interesting. UAE is warning Trump that Israeli annexations could unravel the Abraham Accords. So everything Trump's been trying to work on, Israel's kind of messing up in a weird sort of way. We'll see. Again, Trump can smooth out and make deals with just about anybody. I'm 100% sure of that. But again, questioning things. Another example of people that cannot let the Ukraine war go, for example, is UK. They're literally been sucking Ukrainian resources. They've just taken them. This is something that London's doing. The British, they have a lot of karma, man. No offense. If you're British and you're in my audience, I love you. I mean, I do. I can't tell if you're mad or not, but I love you. You're a brother. Always will say that. But your country has a lot of karma. A lot of karma. You guys have been dicks, hardcore dicks all over the place for many, 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 many years. And good on you. I mean, that says a lot. You guys were the world power for a great period of time. We sort of took that from you, kind of. But all said, they are sucking money out of Ukraine. Zelensky doesn't exist anymore. EU and all the money that's flowing to the deep state doesn't exist anymore. The war in Ukraine cannot end as far as the deep state's concerned. It can't. Putin saying if Zelensky is interested in meeting, let him come to Moscow. Good call. Like, you want to talk? You'll kill us. We're less likely to do that than you are, that's for sure. But yeah, come to Moscow. You want to talk? Come talk. Stop running around to everybody else and talking. Come talk to the guy that's actually fighting you. Otherwise, take off or something to that effect. Russians wouldn't say it like that. Russian President Vladimir Putin also said on Wednesday that the Ukraine conflict could be ended with a deal if common sense prevailed, and that there was a light at the end of the tunnel, but cautioned that if not, then it would have to be resolved militarily. Period. It's like, look, we can work this out. I'm cool with that. China's not getting involved, and China definitely isn't. Everyone's pissed off about that, which I think is kind of funny as well. China's, again, like, I don't have to. We don't need to. We're friends with Russia. Fuck you guys. Basically. And good on them. That they should. The fact that they can. Fantastic. We have been this monster nastiness for years. So a lot of countries have been like, no, we're not going to be told what to do. And again, it was the deep state operating through our government. It wasn't necessarily the American people, though we were blind and deaf and dumb at the wheel. We're 100% at fault because we allowed it. But at least more people are awake now, and God's working in mysterious ways, and thank goodness. So, yeah, Russia's in an interesting place. Trump announces he's going to be having a phone call with Russia, with Putin specifically, in the coming days. So maybe they can work some stuff out. Obviously, going to talk about the different attacks that are going on and whatnot. Nigel Farage, he's warning Congress of British government's war on freedom. I feel like it's probably not necessary to say, but yeah, the government in England is going through kind of a version of what's happening here and what's happening in a lot of places right now. Shit, Germany, they're, like I said, killing off politicians. So Farage is fighting a tough fight. Google's trying to do a weird thing with apps that can be sold on the App Store. This is like, they're almost getting like Apple now, which, I don't know. For what they're talking about, it's making a lot of noise for something that I'm almost like, well, I don't know if I just want people that are anonymous to be able to make apps that they can just sell, right? Because sometimes you can get all sorts of crazy code that way. If it's somebody that's got to verify who they are in case something happens, and they can go after them. So, I mean, again, a lot of like YouTube and stuff, we all got to sign up with our own names and shit. Like, there's, you have to. They don't let you sneak by. So, I mean, again, I'd love to be anonymous everywhere. That'd be awesome. I'd never, ever admit who I was to the government. Ever. Never. It'd be pointless. Why would you? Plaintiffs overreached. Alphabet shares soar after the judge realizes he's not going to break apart the Google Chrome and Google search and all that nonsense. He's not busting that apart. They did hit him up with a pretty sweet little monopoly pain point. And so, yeah, the remedies, they're more or less an Alphabet. They're not as bad as they're thinking they were going to be. His 230-page ruling on Friday barred Google from having exclusive contracts for its Google search, Chrome, and so they can't have exclusive contracts. That's it. They're not breaking them up or anything like along those lines. So not nearly as bad as they were talking. Kraft Heinz board has decided to break up this company into two companies. You would have thought Kraft and Heinz would be the companies, but no, not what they're doing. One's going to be called Global Taste Elevation Company, And I think the other one's going to be Kraft Heinz. So whatever. They're doing this to try to help a dying brand. They got so many different foods in there. All this stuff's so heavily processed. Cheese Whiz, like Oscar Mayer, Miracle Whip, like some of the singles, Kraft singles, probably quite possibly Velveeta. It's not even, it literally is not considered food. It's food product. They can't call it food because it's not. They have stovetop, though. Holy shit, you have stovetop? What? Hang on. Gotta recalculate. I don't know what else they got. I don't know. Anyway, I was trying to glance at all the stupid shit. Anyway, doesn't matter. All right, I don't know. For people that are sports fans, what the hell? Big old brawl breaks out. This dude didn't even complete his home run. I don't even know what happens from the rule standpoint. If you, leave the base path, I'm pretty sure you're disqualified in some way, shape, or form. So I don't think the run actually counted, but obviously this home run caused a lot of consternation. A lot.
500. They're 5 games out of the final wild card spot. Devers skies one to right, way up there, and gone. Another one for Rafi Devers. And Kyle Freeland, the benches are clearing. Devers is trying to round the bases. Freeland was unhappy, and now we got punches being thrown. Oh my goodness. I mean, Devers still hasn't rounded the bases.
No, he's in the mix. He left the base paths. This is now pushing out towards second base.
Oh, man. Even Logan Webb is out there. Freeland did not like Devers admiring that one. And Freeland kind of lost his mind. And I think Chapman and Adames both raced out there. Now we got some stuff to sort out. Bob Melvin saying to Devers, yeah, maybe you should go keep running.
And Logan Webb's running his mouth now.
Yeah,
we got more action.
Yeah, Adames and Freeland are really going at it.
Well, we talk about that he gives up homers. And he did. He sat there, he watched it. There's no question that happened.
Man, Adames, the camera's not focused on Willie, but he is hot, shouting over at Freeland.
Yeah, they're going to have to sort this one out. I mean, again, Rafi left the base paths. A lot of shoving. I didn't see much swinging.
I mean, I don't know the last time I saw a home run trot get interrupted by like that.
I don't think he actually got the point. I don't know. Whatever. Well, I don't know if any of you guys have the stats on that one. Whatever the case is, craziness. American baseball somehow becoming better. I feel like if you can, rush the mound and try to, conquer the mound, might make the game more interesting. Golf would be the same way if you had to fight for the ball once you got on the green, right? Just swinging clubs and just whoever survives the match wins the game. That's how it should be played. I love you guys. We got a lot going on and things are happening quickly. Be prepared. That's all I can say. Be prepared. Don't know when it's going to happen. When it does, you're going to know it. You're going to know it. Just help the people around you as best you can, because ultimately that's all we're going to be able to do. The people right outside your front door. I love you guys. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.